I'll always say on this podcast that I want to have a paranormal experience, but I want to have it somewhere else, not inside my house. Well, this guest has the exact opposite of that. His house is, for an apartment, is eat up with the paranormal. And this was a fun episode to do. I did it a few weeks ago. I'm finally going to air it tonight because I had a guest cancel, and my misfortune is your gain because this was a fun episode. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Caffeinated Cryptid podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Dizzle, and as you can see on your screen, and if you're not watching it, I've got the screen on bobbydizzle.com, and I want to encourage everyone to join the Facebook group. Just go to bobbydizzle.com. It's at the top. It says join the Facebook group. When you click on it, there's a link. Click here to join. It's called Bigfoot and Coffee, or Coffee and Bigfoot, the official group of the Caffeinated Cryptid podcast. I put a lot of the stuff on there first, and a lot of updates and funny pictures. Anything that happens, I put it on there. It's a good time. Just please join the Facebook group, bobbydizzle.com. Click on join the Facebook group at the top of the page. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But without further ado, let me just tell you where you're at. This is the Caffeinated Cryptid podcast with Bobby Dizzle. This podcast is a caffeinated adventure, a lighthearted adventure through the world of Bigfoot, cryptids, all aspects of the paranormal, and some science, because I like to talk history, prehistoric stuff, Ice Age, and I think fossils and history and science are a big part of the cryptid world. If they lived on this planet for any amount of time, maybe there's fossils. I'm fascinated by them regardless. This show airs on YouTube Sundays and Thursdays, and I'm booked solid for months. I got tons of killer guests coming up. It's pretty amazing, even though some of them cancel. People have lives. It's not my fault. It's on Spotify. It's on iTunes. It's on a lot of other things. If you check out bobbydizzle.com, all the ways to listen are right there on your audio apps on your phone. We have a good time. I'm thinking about doing a big speaking tour. I say that very mildly, but I'm trying to go on other larger shows to get my name out there. So the schedule may change soon, but it'll still be weekly regardless if it's only just once. So enough about me. Be sure to share and subscribe if you haven't already. Your friends, trying to make this bigger than it is, make a career out of it. Tonight's guest, Rican Havoc, has a haunted apartment, lots of photo evidence, lots of video evidence. This was really fun to shoot. Lots of visual aid. I really encourage, if you're not watching this one, maybe listen to it and then go back and scroll through and watch the videos you see on the screen. So without any more rigmarole and fluff to fill time, here is Rican Havoc on the Caffeinated Cryptid podcast with Bobby Dizzle. Thank you. What is up, peeps? And we are
hello.
What's up?
All right. We are live, all the way live. Here with John Carty from his Rican Havoc haunted apartment. Do you go by John Hardy? I got Batman on the brain. John Carty from his haunted apartment, also known as Rican Havoc. We got Wild Trees. And this is the Bobby Dizzle podcast. I'd like to remind everyone to subscribe, please, if you will. And also a reminder that I'm on iTunes, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. All the links for those are in the description. So if you're working out, you don't just have to watch me. You can just listen. My voice is much nicer than my face. And, of course, just Wild Trees. Links are in the description. And Rican Havoc, you have a YouTube channel. And
Yes.
Do you have a Facebook or anything? I'll put those in the description as well.
Yeah, Facebook. Facebook's just John Carty.
A little behind the curtain. We're doing this live, but about a week in advance. And so, what in the world? You hear that?
How does that work, Bob? Because it does say live. I feel like it is live right now.
No, it's live. I'm watching it. It's live, but it's private. It's live, but it's going to private.
Oh, it's live, but it's private. Got it. Now
so I can still premiere it. I can still premiere it as live with lots of fancy comments.
Good.
The magic of video. You just ruined the whole illusion. Way to go. I hope all your water bears fall in salt. So Rican Havoc, they wouldn't die in salt. Water bears don't die in salt. Surely
Yeah,
not.
they live in the ocean, but
Yeah.
good try.
All right, Rican Havoc, John. You live in a haunted apartment. Am I getting this right?
I used to, yes. Yes, pretty much, I would say.
And where do you live? You live now? Is your house that's haunted right now?
Uh, I wouldn't say haunted. I would say there's a lot of activity going on around here.
Active. Okay.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot of pictures you send me. It's going to be a more visual podcast. Everybody's going to see me work these screen share. Hopefully that spam caller don't call back and scare me to death. We'll cut right to it. Anyway, Rican Havoc's got a house slash that's active in what may or may not be the paranormal. Lots and lots of security camera photos. Seems to be a couple of orb videos I watched that I was really interested in. You know, we just discussed orbs last night about how they could be dust, but this one had like a trajectory. It's like it was on a little roller coaster, not just doing the dust thing, you know. If I can find that.
And I was going to say, I was helping my dad clean his garage, and he had like a brand new infrared trail cam because he works with cameras. So I'm going to ask him if he could let me borrow it so I could do my own orb experiments because that's really what you need. I mean, you could see orbs with your naked eye, you know, the tiny ones, but it's much easier to see them with an infrared camera.
For sure. Yeah.
The downside of that is it only goes infrared at night. The infrared's kind of auto.
Oh, really?
It's just going to play. It's just going to do a HD video during the day.
Well, how does it sense it? Can I just cover up? Does it just have a little thing I could cover up and trick it into thinking it's nighttime?
It's got a light sensor on it, the photo cell.
If you use a regular security camera, you can control the night vision and turn it on and off, you know, whenever you want.
Yeah.
If you
just had an IR camera.
Yeah. One of these things. It's all used.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those are really cheap too.
Some $40. It's all used, nothing crazy. For all this footage.
I used to record soldiers training in a simulated nighttime environment, and I was working all the IR cameras.
Oh wow!
And they were just like that, except about 20 years ago. So they're just the same little GoPro box that had a big lens on it. Pretty neat,
right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, IR's amazing.
Yeah,
I think Squatches can sense it though. Oh, let me see. This isn't gonna be the most fun-filled, action-packed until the conversation cranks open. But I wanted to just inside my mind here, share screen, show you this some of the stuff I was looking at earlier. Here we go. Where are you at? Oh, come on. What? Did you have to do this too with Chrome?
For sharing stuff? Are you having trouble pulling it up?
It's just,
or what's the problem?
Chrome's making me do the...
Sometimes stuff just doesn't work on the internet.
It's fun. Hey, I don't even care. It
happens to me all the time, especially with trying to share files. There's so many things can go wrong. It's almost like someone doesn't want you to freaking send this stuff.
It's all right.
So I saw, Rika, that you did like a revamp for your channel. Was that true? You changed the name and you're going in a new direction. Can you tell us about that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So while I've been doing it, I've just been posting my footage on my channel, like just throwing it on there, and, you know, pretty much that's it. So I think it's time to change everything up a little bit. I want to interview people who also have been collecting evidence for a long time. And a lot of these people I've been talking to have been recording stuff for up to like 20 years, I would say. And so I really want to get into people that have evidence, that are experiencers, that have tons of proof that they can just show people. And I'm trying to kind of like, as I interview people, take their evidence and put it in one place and kind of build a collection of everything and just see what happens.
Yeah.
It's going to be basically a lot of visual, not much interview, like maybe like a 2-minute introduction, and then right to the evidence and just look through it.
Cool.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. You two have an interesting conversation for like 3 minutes because
Okay.
I really want to talk about this, and it's gonna suck if I can't show it. But if not, we'll just talk about it. And I know we're not losing money here, so give me just keep a jawing.
All right, no problem. All right, man, that's cool. So tell us about your next guest. You mentioned her a little bit in the we were chatting earlier.
Oh
What's
yeah,
up with her?
uh, she's an experiencer as well, and she's been collecting evidence for a long time. I would say at least 15 years, as far as I know. It could be more. I'm not sure the exact number, but and she has a lot of it, and she she claims to have done some fantastic stuff, but she has evidence. I you know she's an amazing person. A lot of like the stuff that she has on film blows my stuff away. You know,
Mm.
and it's just pretty amazing. And those are types of people I want to talk to, and I want to try to figure something out because there is evidence out there, and I'm ready to start going through it and try to figure it out. I have a guest coming on after her, who's another experiencer, and he has pictures of marks that he woke up with on his body.
Hmm.
And what's cool is a lot of those pictures are similar to mine. So he can come on my show, we can compare them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, add that to the collection of evidence and just, that's what I want to do. I don't know where it's going to go, but see what happens.
And what is the name of that first guest, that the woman, and how did you find out about her?
Stone Hobbit. Um, I met her a couple of years ago. I met her when I started everything.
Sorry,
Uh,
clear my throat here.
yeah, so I've known her for a while, but
Okay.
she's pretty cool, and she's also like she lives like right around where they filmed the Lord of the Rings,
Oh, okay.
and she's been like extras in movies out there. She's into like the medieval stuff, and like she makes her own weapons, like legit weapons. She has like this armory with axes and shields, like legit freaking weapons. Like that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. And plus, she has amazing pictures of orbs and stuff. She's a cool guest. She's just a cool friend. So
Like
Cool.
in New Zealand?
yes,
Okay. Well, holla at you, boy. I have got the share screen to
Yay.
work. I just had to bounce Chrome.
No
so
problem. It
Whatever.
happens.
Anyway, here's the one that intrigued me: the scars you got. Like, did those come from activity in your apartment? Like, I know
yeah,
the one with the 3 on it.
hmm yeah. See, I had 3 different ones in about 10 days when I lived there on that same knee. So this is
So,
only
like,
showing 2 of them.
what do you think caused that? Is like while you were asleep, you woke up with them?
hmm Well, you see the one that says scars. There's
Mm-hmm.
a other picture in there that shows the actual holes that made those scars. Yeah, that's me actually highlighting the scars because I was trying to show that the holes because it looked like they were in pairs. But
That's terrifying.
those are the marks that made the scars that were circled because I was trying to show like, look, I still have a scar and I have another fresh one before that one's even healed. That's what I was trying to show in that picture. Like, look, they happened pretty close to each other. That hurt. I couldn't shower for 2 days. They went all the way down to the bone. Like
Really?
when I walk around, I'd have to hold my
Damn.
pants away from my leg because if the fabric touched it, it was just excruciating pain.
And was that after your really intense experience in your bedroom, or
Yeah,
was that separate?
this was 2 years ago.
Okay.
They were deep, man. And like at work, I'm like I kept like feeling my leg burning. I'm like, what the? I never really thought to look at it. And then when I got home, I looked at it, and it was just like it didn't look like that. It looked all red. It didn't have holes. It was weird. It looked like a burn almost. And then like the next day, it changed into that. Like I would have to
No,
sit on the couch and like pull my shorts up and like not have anything touch it. Like that's how much that hurt.
right.
And that happened while I was sleeping. You know.
Now I was curious. So I know these specific marks are painful, but I wonder, since you started getting these marks, have you noticed that you're getting sick more often or less often, or have you not noticed a difference? You know, just like the cold, the flu, that stuff. What is your health
No,
been
I've
Mm.
I've been fine for the most part. You
And they
know.
appear to be in pairs,
Yeah,
like?
like
and that
one
that
instrument did it.
and, and that's what caught my attention because at first I just kind of brushed it off, but it just looked weird. Then I'm sitting there looking at them, and I was like, "Are those in pairs?" And I was like, "No way." And then I start,
You know what it looks like? It looks like those things you get from like a Walmart to do a weenie roast,
yeah,
and it's got the two prongs.
Right.
No, that's not what it is, but it's got the same consistency like
yeah,
some kind of instrument.
yes, exactly. That's what I was trying to show when I highlighted the pairs.
Insane.
Yes. Well, I think I gave you a nice mixture of stuff.
Oh yeah, this
So
one right
yeah,
here
so
terrified. This one
so where it
terrified. That's
says
got demonic.
Mhm.
yes, you got the three, then you got the two little ones, and that's where all those holes were. But you can see the scarring left behind. It's still discolored. I can look at it now, and you can see the discoloration. Some people have suggested that it was bed bugs or I had a flesh-eating disease to try to dance around the idea of what I think it is.
I mean,
But
those two always go hand in hand.
but this has been happening forever. But I've only been taking pictures for the past 2 years. I kicked myself in the ass for starting so late. Yeah,
Speaking of
yeah.
ass, I thought that was impressive. That looks like I just
That's
don't
from.
understand.
I still have that to this day. That's from when I was 15. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, and to this day, that like will intensely burn out of nowhere to the point where I have to lay on the ground because there's just so much pain. Not like a bone, the actual scar, which
Right.
I I don't know how to explain that. I don't. Does that happen to anybody else that has scars?
I'm trying to
No.
think. On Black Lotus, we interviewed a guy who had, I think he directed and starred in a film about his abduction. No, he wasn't really abducted. He was when he was a little boy. He saw this alien running around his house, and he said it looked like Ultraman, and so it looked
Mhm.
like a really short little Japanese character. But anyway, it looked very insectoid actually, and he said that being touched him, and it left this permanent scar. And I'm trying to remember if he says it still burns or it still hurts him to this day, but I think he might have.
Yeah,
So that
because it's
is.
kind of freaky. Like it's almost like I feel like it's an alarm or something. Like, because
Mm,
why would that happen? I mean, it's bad. Like I don't think it should be doing that. I've never heard of anybody else saying they have scars that burn like 25 years later.
right.
So
Exactly.
I had a spot on my back that burned and turned out to be the beginnings of skin cancer, but I don't think it's the same thing.
Mm,
also,
They
there's a
cut that out.
theory that the tip of my tailbone is not there no more.
mm,
But I've never had an X-ray to confirm that. But at this time, I had an ex-girlfriend check it out, kind of, and she tells me it's not there. I
Hmm.
mean, she was crying and told me it was not there.
You know
mm.
what it kind of reminds me of? Like when you see people with implants from the abductions, especially that it burns from time to time.
Yeah.
I mean, like burns. Like
Yeah.
I can't sit down; it burns, But yeah,
Let's check out some of these videos. What we got here. It's kind of like an exhibition of stuff.
yep. So
People
this
just got to
is
deal with it. Oh,
that
there's the
right
orb.
there. That was a quick one. That was it. That was the
Yeah.
very first one I ever seen on camera, and that's all there was that one night. But that one orb is what got me to start recording or at least paying attention. So that was like the original. And then the next day it was like three, and the next day it was like a bunch, and then next thing I see is faces in them, and it started getting out of control. So this is me before work. This is kind of my routine. Set everything up.
Is this in your new place or this is your old
No,
place?
this is the old place.
Yeah, I can see by
Yeah,
the date.
you can see wild trees, and on the right side there's the HEPA filter set up
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
that we talked about. Yeah, so there's a HEPA filter running in this room while this stuff's going on. So
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff in there.
yeah. Also, the light on the left side is another camera, and that's an IR light. Besides that, the room
right
is
there.
pitch dark. Yeah, the room's like pitch dark. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting ready for work, and this is a pretty average morning, I would say.
Very cool. Yeah, I one of the experiments I'd like to do, which is very simple, would be to, well, first try to get some of them on film. And if I have an area that has them on film, then was actually my friend who gave me the idea. Just put a fan, pointing in one direction, and if it is just dust, it should react to the fan.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not reacting to the fan, it's not going in the direction of the fan, then that's interesting.
The video we're gonna cover on your show will touch on that.
Okay, sweet.
Yes.
That's 24 minutes long. I thought it said 2 minutes. Good Lord. Just going through all this material here. See, this was weird. I saw this one earlier. I looked at it. I'm like, is it going to zoom in? Because you could think that, there's still similar markings over here, but it's weird that particular area turns into that.
Well, there's actually a video that's actually an orb passing through, but just for one frame of the video, that's what it turned into. That's where I get all these screenshots from. They're only one frame of an orb flying by. So when that one frame is done, it's back to an orb and it keeps on moving.
That changes everything.
Yeah, it really took a lot of patience that I didn't think I had to find some of this stuff, because you have to go frame by frame by frame by frame. And sometimes it's just frames of nothing. Oh, this was a scary one. This is just a screenshot. Yeah.
There it is.
Looks like the demon face, I would call it.
Jason Voorhees up in this camp.
I remember you had that really interesting shadow person video where the shadow person was in a corner kind of peeking out and then moving around. Have you had any more activity with those type of images?
I've seen them frequently, but not on camera. But yeah, I see them probably at least once a week, I would say. Sometimes 4 or 5 at a time. It's crazy.
So it still happens now? Or is this still in your old place?
This is just something that's going to go on forever. Doesn't matter where I'm at.
It's following you around? Okay.
Yeah, I'm still trucking along on the same path.
That's fortunate.
This is the video wild trees you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
What the fuck? Okay, I'm out.
And so this is I'm actually at work when this is being recorded, and the reason the camera is pointed there is because I seen something in a previous video around that couch. I was trying to catch it.
I saw it over here.
That light, and the light closes. I tried to replicate that light, and I could not do it. People thought it could be like someone shine a flashlight under.
Yeah.
But you see that thing run out, and it's that shadow.
Yeah.
And if you look at it closely, you can almost see that the shadow person looks like it has a hat on, which is something that somebody else pointed out to me recently that I haven't seen. That's what I like about sharing this kind of stuff, because other people see stuff sometimes that I don't notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I saw that on a video for the first time, I almost moved out.
I gotta watch that again.
Yeah. Can you make it full screen, Bobby? I think you can if you hit that little corner.
Where am I at? Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong screen. It's my first day on the internet.
That's all right. Yeah, there it goes. And then it kind of, moves back.
Yeah, but I think they're two different ones, because the one that runs out is like 2 feet tall, and the one that pops out, it almost looks like the size of us. you know. So either it changed shapes or it's two of them. What do you think would be the more, I don't know,
I,
logical
Hmm.
theory on that? You
I'm not
know,
I
sure.
kind
Can
of
you
just want to
replay it
watch
again?
this. Yeah, I kind of just want to watch this for the next hour and a half.
Yeah, we played it again. Let's see.
and,
All
Mm,
and
right.
dude,
God
and
Almighty,
then
there it is.
dude, it runs like belly first. It runs like how do I like one of the seven dwarves. That's what it looks like. Like the stomach's out, right, and the shoulders are back. If you the short one, watch
What
how
was
it
that
runs.
word? What was that word we learned last night? Puckwudgie?
Puckwudgie.
Yeah, puckwudgie.
Oh, I've heard of them. Yeah, yeah, but watch it. Watch how it runs again. The short one. It's like the stomach's out. It's like it's running like that, right?
Yeah.
And then he
Lord
pops
have
out.
mercy.
Yeah.
Christ on crutches. Oh shit, that's
So
real.
you think there's two of them? You think that first motion is one, and that second peeking out is another one? Is that where you see it?
It's either that or the first one was able to change into something completely different once it got behind the couch. But
Hmm.
someone else pointed something out is that it kind of looks like the second one is actually on top of the couch and not behind the couch. That's actually much closer to the camera. You just
Hmm.
reminded me of that. So that's another reason why I thought that it could be two separate ones.
I'm gonna run it like once or twice more because that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's there.
So watch now. Look at the second one on the couch, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
See, like it's closer to the camera. Like it comes from like maybe the center of the couch, possibly.
Interesting.
Now I've got it on my other screen here,
Hmm.
and you can almost see like it's a part of its appendage right down here. You can't really see it on the zoom.
Hmm.
Like the arm.
Yeah, it's like
So
a
you,
leg or like it's sitting on the couch or something. You can't see it, wild trees, but I've got my monitor turned up
Gotcha.
pretty blazing. It's not. This doesn't
yeah, I,
translate.
I
God.
I I think that's a shoulder and an arm.
But
A
what?
head, a
Watch
head,
like
a
right
shoulder,
here
and an
toward the
arm.
end. I don't know if you can
Oh,
see it, but I'll point to it with the mouse when I see it. Like there's its
Yeah.
leg, and then starts dangling.
okay.
It's like it's sitting there. You can see like disturbances on the couch as well. Like I bet if the couch wasn't just black, you could see something else.
Hmm. Interesting. That is
There's
there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
And,
freaking
and what's
real.
funny is like there's orbs flying around the whole time, and it's like, they're just orbs. No, but the thing is, they're always around when anything happens, pretty much.
Right.
They're, you
What
know,
was this one? There's the face.
like that was an orb as well.
That was just a screenshot.
Mhm.
Right.
That was. Oh, was it? Oh, that
Oh
was the
yeah,
orb that
yeah,
turned into a.
yeah.
Yeah.
It went right up the wall. It was crazy. It looked like it had a rib cage kind of too. I don't know if you can, or like a chest.
There's a little bit of structure right there.
Yeah, I didn't even see the horn until like 8 months later when someone else told me. I didn't even notice that. I was like, "Hey, look at his face." He's like, "Dude, that's fucking. It has a horn." I'm sorry for cursing. I was, and
Explicit.
I was like, "Oh God!" Like what? I blew my mind. It's,
Tell me, is that a video? Is
yeah.
it?
This is my first camera, so the quality is not the best, but it's you can still see. You know, that's a crazy dust storm or invasion of bugs.
Right.
I mean, I know my apartment looks messy, but it's like clean though. Like everything's like mopped and wiped down. It's just a mess. It's not like a dirty mess. It's just
Right.
clutter.
You would expect to see that maybe like in a
Yeah.
old
And
abandoned house from the 50s or
yeah,
something.
and I'd like to add the HEPA filters in the back of the video of this one
Oh,
as
it's right there.
well. Yes, and it's on. It's always on. I'm
Right.
still it's right in front of me now. I still use it.
That's good, man. At the very least, you're gonna have healthier lungs. At the very least, but that is interesting that you get all that activity even with the filter on.
Mhm.
Crazy.
Is that called Alien Left Side? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it. It's what it looks like. Alien on the left
Oh,
side.
yeah. There it is. These things are crazy.
Yeah, and all these screenshots are from orbs. This one's cool, and that's not
Hmm.
even in slow motion. That's real time.
That is really
Hmm.
interesting, right? It's like bigger
Yeah.
than the other ones.
Dude, I love when the motion sensor catches it. It's so
Right.
great. You know, that means the camera sees something moving.
Can you play that one again, Bobby?
Yeah, let me. Here we go.
There we go. Yeah, it's kind of going slow. That's interesting.
Hmm.
Huh. That's
They
very
move.
odd.
They move in so many different speeds. Some flash, some don't. You know, some are brighter, some have faces. There's so many different kinds. I should really start cataloging what I think the different types of orbs are, to be honest with you, because there's a lot.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah.
They're like the base of like all the activity, pretty much. You know, like it's where the activity begins is the orb almost for most of
I
it, not all of it.
I think there definitely needs to be some kind of categorization going on, like because I look, when people film orb videos like this, look, some of them have to be dust. I'm not saying all of it is, but yeah, it'd be nice to be able to just look at it, to like study it enough, and just be able to look at a video and be like, oh, that one's dust, but these right here are not dust. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It'd be very interesting to categorize everything.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, some of it's dust. You know, it's some like when I record outside, some of it's bugs, but eventually you can see the difference. You know, like I used to think a lot of orbs outside were bugs until I started actually getting bugs on camera, and
Hmm.
Mhm.
you can see the wings and you can see how erratic it flies. It's not shooting across the camera at like light speed, you know.
Right.
So you know, but it takes a lot of recording, a lot of watching born footage to figure that stuff out.
Kind of like the rods. Ones with wings, ones without.
I have like two screenshots of those. They're pretty cool. I might have sent them to you. I'm not sure.
You may have. I just don't want to
No.
dig into the ones you sent. What's his name? Wilding trees.
Yeah, the rods. We're talking to a guy yesterday who saw rods, and he saw them outdoors with his naked eye. But he was younger, and he did say something very interesting. Well, I think he brought it up, and it makes sense. It's like, okay, you know how people say that children are more into the paranormal, they're more connected to it. You know, they could see it. Well, then he was talking about how, or someone brought it up. It was just yesterday, but I forgot. But
Frame
basically,
rates.
was that,
Frame rates.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and also the idea that like a child probably has better vision than any adult. You know what I mean? Just because we know that vision degrades, not for everybody, but for a lot of people, vision degrades as you get older. So perhaps children have, probably the best vision they'll ever have at that age. And maybe probably that their other senses are also probably pretty high. Maybe that's why he saw the rods with his naked eye. He said it was like they were like a foot long, and he said there were insects
Hmm.
there too. So he said, because I asked him, I
Wow.
was like, okay, were you seeing insects mixed in? He's like, yeah, I saw two different things.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah, I've never seen them in person, just on camera.
the really cool thing about the orb phenomenon is that it's something in common with cattle mutilations, which is that it's a paranormal thing, supposedly. It's unexplained, but it has so much information there. There's so much information there. Same thing with a cattle mutilation. You have a literal carcasses of information. But the good thing about the orbs is different than the cattle, as far as investigating, is that, well, it's a lot easier to deal with image files, video files, than it is to deal with a carcass of a cow.
Yeah.
So they both have the in common that there's a lot of information there, but it's a lot easier to deal with the orb information.
Mm-mm. It's a tough subject to deal with because you really have to dig into the videos to find anything. You're not gonna like some of the stuff you're not gonna see just watching a video one time. I mean, it takes me sometimes I watch a video 20 times. There's one video I'm still looking at that's a year and a half old. I'm still finding stuff, you know, because the stuff is so fast. It's so fast. And if you skip over 5 or 10 seconds and don't look through it, you
Right.
can miss something amazing.
Well, that's
So
where it would be. That's where it'd be good to get a infrared camera that has a high frame rate, like 120 frames per second or something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, because then, well, that would be. I mean, that would help a lot. I might have to investigate that. I might have to start with my father's, uh, garage camera, but then try to move up to a really high frame rate. I mean, the higher the better. 500 frames per second. That'd
and
be
that
great.
just multiplies the amount of the time of footage to watch, right? So the higher
Well,
frame rate, the more frames you have to watch. I'm assuming.
yeah, so there's more. Okay, there's pluses and benefits. Like, well, the one plus is, like, how you said, if you're not paying attention, you might miss something, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you're doing something at high frame rate, then it's more likely to be there. There's more images of it, so you're less likely.
Um,
So on the one hand, there's more information for you to go through. On the other
mm,
hand, you're less likely to miss something because it's going to be there.
that makes
And then
sense.
the other thing is you'll get a better idea of the motion. The motion will be clearer. There won't be as much like smudging or whatever. So
I
yeah,
see. I see.
and the files will be bigger. Obviously, the files will be a lot larger for your when you're going through them. But yeah,
I think you could probably shuttle through them a lot faster if you had a higher frame rate, even though
Mhm.
there'd be more. You'd be able to notice something because it'd be in every
But
frame, but just slightly askew at each
yeah,
one.
yeah, I
yeah.
think you're right.
The other thing I was just considering is building. I'm going to say this like I could do this, but maybe it's not that hard to do, or maybe I'd have to hire somebody. But building an AI program to categorize everything, just feeding all your footage to an artificial intelligence program that could, you just train it on how to, catch the orbs, categorize it and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be
It's
great.
Yeah, it'd be an initial high investment, but after that, it would do everything for you, so you're good to
I
go.
mean, I delete 10,000 files every month. I don't even look at. It's automatically get deleted. Most of it's
Mm,
when I'm sleeping or I'm not at home. I can't. I have to focus on certain times of the day. And 10,000 is a lot. Most of it's like my camera automatically takes 1 minute videos when something
mhm,
moves, and then it takes a picture for every frame and saves it automatically onto an SD card.
mhm.
So I have to kind of concentrate on certain times and get rid of the rest. So
That
I've
makes sense.
gotten rid of hundreds of thousands of files. It's crazy. And I probably missed some crazy stuff, but it's just, dude, a program like that would be amazing.
Yeah.
At least,
You
at
got
least
me.
for me.
You got me thinking about it now because I use cameras every day, just about,
Hmm.
and I always loved messing with game cameras. So I wonder how you could use them to get an orb.
Mm.
I don't think it would do it during the day just because of the light. Because infrared light
It,
during the day is just wouldn't show up.
it
Right. No, I get
depends,
what you.
man. It really depends on the person. Everybody's different. Like, yeah, because like for me, I have to do it in IR. I know people who just when they take any picture, they're there. I know people that have to like who actually see them first, and they can take a picture of them. There's different ways to see them. It's crazy. You know, uh, which It's interesting. It's, you think if you see orbs, but it's not even like that. There's so many different ways to see them and interact with them and record them.
They
Like
seem
there's
to be a
one guy.
common vehicle.
Yeah, I think they're Ubers. I really think they're
Yeah,
Ubers.
Mm,
I think they're
I think we
just.
actually used that analogy before, like the little Ubers of the paranormal world.
mm.
Mhm. There's a picture sent you, Bobby. It's a huge, big white orb. It's stretched out along the left side of a photo, and the rest of the picture is kind of dark. Inside that photo, there's like 10 faces inside of one orb. And that's when I started getting the idea of how they're a vehicle. Because how else would 10, 8 to 10 beings get into one thing?
That's
Well,
interesting. That's
No,
that's it.
not
That's
this
it.
one, but that looks like a woman's face, though. That's why I took that picture.
Yeah.
was this is this there?
Oh, yeah, it's a
What
hoodie.
is?
It's a
Okay, I
hoodie.
was like, that's
Yeah,
clearly
no, no,
something.
no. No, I'll be screaming at the top of the roof if I had a picture like that.
Yeah, I would like be leading with that if that was, was
Yeah,
real.
yeah. So that's what I was saying. I'm not just gonna
Have you seen
randomly.
this? Clearly a
Oh,
little gray.
right there. Yep. So if you start at the very bottom you'll see a chin, and then you'll see a face looking down to the left, kind of. You might have to zoom out a little bit. Yeah, it's one of these pictures where you kind of gotta mess with it, but once you get it into the right focus, you'll end up seeing faces everywhere. So you can use your judgment as you're looking at it. But at the bottom, there's a face looking down to the left, and above it is a guy with a mustache looking straight at you.
And
Yeah.
don't you have one of these that's like where you circle it all too, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm not sure if I sent him that
Oh,
one or
okay.
not.
That's all right. That's all right.
I can see the face.
Yeah, yeah, but they're everywhere though.
Yeah.
Um, and this was flying down. This is an orb zoomed in. It's going by my computer chair, and I was like, "Wow, there's so many faces in there." Just trying to figure it out. I'm like, had to have traveled together, right? Maybe they're
That's what,
coming from somewhere to like Uber, like right, like who knows? I don't know. It's crazy. Like there's one right under your mouse, a face looking straight ahead,
Mm-hmm.
right there. Yep. And do you know I showed this stuff to MUFON and it told me this stuff was fake, and then they like ghosted me on the phone.
Move on.
Yeah.
What did they even want to find anything? Like what the hell?
And like they did to me before, and the guy promised me this time around, he's like, I promise I'll take your case myself. That won't happen. And then he's like, my colleagues think all this stuff's fake you sent. I'm like, fake? I sent him screenshots. I said, well, I'll send you the videos. Just watch the video. And that was it. Never heard from him again. I was like, dude, they missed out on the opportunity, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah, it's also unprofessional to
Yeah.
treat somebody like that.
Yeah, like and they're like they call themselves researchers. Like, wow, was it too fantastic that they can't comprehend? Like, this isn't like super crazy stuff, I've seen some crazy stuff out there. It's not like flesh and blood aliens running around, but there's something there enough to have a conversation with people who research this stuff. But it's cool. I understand. It's whatever.
John, I think it's really interesting. It's the first time I've heard you say this, but it's interesting because it's like an evolution of your ideas, and it's a new hypothesis that the reason, which you said basically, the reason why you're seeing faces in the orbs is because it's a transport. That was new to me. I hadn't heard of that, but that is very interesting.
Like this one here, this was only visible for actually 2 frames, because the second frame it turns his head to the right, which is crazy, but then goes off as an orb again. Like, pareidolia is a word used a lot. Oh yeah, actually you can see the second frame on the right side. I just noticed that. So that's 2 frames in a row. Frame 1 on the left and frame 2 on the right. And it just turned its head for that one frame and then went back into an orb. So you can see the actual movement of the head and how it actually turns.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Imagine if you had like 20 frames of something like that. You can click through and see it actually move.
This is my thing though. Like, they're just passing by, but for that one frame, they want to be visible. They don't have to show themselves for that one frame. I don't know that for sure, but I'm pretty certain they could just zip right through if they wanted to. And they're always looking at the camera, so I think it's intentional that they do that.
Yeah, maybe they can only muster up enough energy for that 1/60th of a second.
Dude, I've been thinking about this stuff a lot, man. I think somehow, some way, there's just like a rule in place between all that stuff and us. Like, there's a rule in place, something, because these things are intelligent. They can probably do whatever they want, right? But they choose to, if they're on camera, they either want to be on camera or they messed up. Is my opinion, and that's my opinion. I usually just use my own footage to, call my opinions. But I think,
I mean, we'll go back to this one.
Because if that wasn't the case, everybody with security cameras would have this, but that's not the case.
Yeah, that's everybody's argument for the Sasquatch thing, since everybody's got a cell phone on them. Like, why there ain't more pictures? Like,
No,
well, Sasquatch knows you're there.
that's the same stuff as all this, man. Certain people are going to be able to record it. Only certain people are going to be able to see it. You know, in my opinion, I would say like a non-experiencer is not going to go in the woods and see Bigfoot or catch him on camera. I don't think that's how it works. That's how it works. Everybody would have him on camera. You know, I think it's just select people for some reason get to dabble in with this stuff and see it or record it, and they're the ones that are going to get the evidence. Is my opinion.
Right.
Like I think if somebody who didn't experience this stuff stood next to me with their own camera, I think we would record two different things.
There was an orb in that picture.
Because if that wasn't the case, dude, with all these Ring doorbells with the cameras and all the security cameras, this stuff would be everywhere. Like this would be common. Right? It's common for me. So why isn't it common for everybody else? There has to be somehow a rule in place or some type of, you're not supposed to show yourselves to those guys. But sometimes they do, Like let's say like shadow people, they're sneaky, right? You got some of them who cross that line and actually mess with people.
Yeah, they touch you, they hug you, they hit you.
So I think there's a rule in place, but those are the ones that kind of cross the line. Think about when you send the military into a city, you got some guys who stick to what they're supposed to do. You got a couple of guys that go off path and do some things that aren't too good,
That's true.
So I think that's what it is, So when people experience bad stuff, I think it's just people crossing that line.
What do you think caused it to go dark right there, right at the end of that video?
The whatever light it came out of just closed.
Really?
I think it came out of a light portal and it ran out, and then once it was done doing what it was doing, it just closed.
See, that's insane because that's like it lights up in that part of the room.
Yeah, like it runs out of the light. That's the way I look at it. And then the portal of light closes.
Like the pixels really help you see this stuff too. It's like 6 or 8 orbs just go.
What are your thoughts, Bobby? I'm curious. What are your thoughts on this orb phenomenon? Photographed orbs, not just John stuff, but in general. What is your thoughts on this subject?
I think that there's some truth to them, to the orbs. If there's any at all, there's some truth to them. I mean, they're either 100% fake or they're real. Obviously, with any of this, but I've seen a lot of videos where the orbs are intelligent. Like they'll just go in a straight line, like watching an airplane in the sky, and then all of a sudden they'll take a turn and do intelligent stuff.
I think the problem with orbs is it's easy to replicate. You can just shake a carpet and get a video. So I think some people look at it as, well, since you can shake a carpet and record the dust and it looks like orbs have to be fake, I think just because you can replicate something doesn't dismiss, the phenomena. You know what I'm saying? It's just there's more ways. There's plenty of ways to make something look like orbs. Like when I first showed my friend my first orb video, he's like, "Dude, that's bullshit." And so he went on YouTube. He showed me a video of a guy shaking a carpet. He's like, "Dude," he's like, "It's dust." I showed him another one. He wouldn't believe me. Then I showed him ones that had like faces and stuff. And he's like, "Wait a minute." He's like, "The dust doesn't have faces in it." And then like now, he's completely bought in. But orbs is like almost like a taboo subject.
Right. There's just too many videos of them bouncing off of gravestones and not looking like dust, like looking like an actual like a thin beam of light. There's too many videos of them.
There's people that seen like balls of plasma just float right by them. I've seen pictures of them. It's wild stuff. But I think like the orb, the shape of it and everything is just like I don't know, the base of everything, I guess. I don't know how to describe it.
The ones that are paranormal in nature look different than a dust orb. Like there's a visibly clear difference, as minuscule as it is. They don't have that little halo inside. It's more like a beam of light,
Yeah.
or just a ball of light, not a beam.
I thought it'd be interesting too. What if some of these orbs are not dust, but they actually are insects? But what if they're an undiscovered form of insect that's like super tiny that's been under our nose the whole time? That'd be interesting as well.
Mhm.
Um, I really just want to get to the bottom of. I just want to scientifically show that, because I think if we're going to move the conversation forward, I just want to scientifically show that some orbs are definitively not dust. I think that'd
Yeah.
be great.
My thing, the bug theory, is a lot of these orbs are coming from a wall and they go through a other wall. Now, if these were little bugs, they'd be like kamikaze, and you know how fast they're flying and they're going like right to the wall. Like there'd be dead bugs everywhere. Maybe if they're microscopic, I wouldn't see them, but
Mhm,
I mean, these things are moving fast, and a lot of them just kind of like go through things.
mhm.
But some of them could be. It's probably a mixture of a bunch of stuff, really.
Right. Yeah, it has to be. Yeah, because even when you have dust, okay, let's just talk about dust. It's still a mixture of things. It's dust, it's pollen, it's skin cells. So yeah, I think there is a mixture. That's why I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
Why I think first it'd be great to show that it's experimentally, scientifically not something boring. That there's something more there, and then once that's done, then it'd be great to start categorizing it. Then the next question is, the first question is there something there other than dust and boring stuff? The answer would be yes, if it goes that way. And then the next question would be, well, what is that stuff then? What is it
Well,
made of?
that's a good idea, and that's the reason. Like one of the reasons why I want to interview people and kind of collect their evidence. By the end of the year, I'm gonna have a nice collection of evidence, and then we can go back and look through everything, and then
Mhm.
we can start putting the similarities together, and we'll have something to work with to try to get answers.
Here we go. Yeah, that sounds good, man.
What we got here?
100 frames a second, $54.
Well, it's not
IR.
bad. And the
Or is it
definition
IR?
is
I
it?
thought it
It's
said
a
IR.
mini webcam, 1080p.
Maybe it's not IR. Dadgummit, I typed in IR.
I wonder if you could put an IR filter on cameras.
Now
You can,
the ones I
hey, you
use
can
had like
use
an
an
IR
IR light.
generator.
You can buy IR light.
Yeah, you do
Yeah,
need a generator. Yeah.
yeah. You probably just set one next to it. That's how all the ones I used were. They were a regular Ikigami light like that, but with a IR generator next to it.
Oh,
Shopping at whoa, that's not it. Everybody's gonna get my personal information. Good thing no one watches this crap. Ew. There's an illuminator, $32.
So how do the illuminators work? So do you just need a special camera, or with an illuminator with a regular camera work?
No, all cameras can see the IR light. It's
Oh,
just a range of what's the word? It's a range of light. Okay, but it's
right,
the
right.
standard
A
a standard
wavelength.
Ikigami, like the little webcam like he had, will see
Mm,
IR when it's
mm.
dark. It just shoots it out, and that's a particular range of
the,
wavelength. Fucking
Right.
yeah.
wavelength. It's a
What
wavelength it can see.
my cameras can convert to IR into color, so it's in IR, but it's a color image of IR.
See, I have a couple Ring cameras I haven't put out yet,
Yeah.
and they display IR. Just
I think security cams are
an Animal
best to
Crossing.
use because they're easy. They're
Oh,
easy to
nice.
connect. You can connect multiple security cameras to one app on your phone and control everything. It's
Yeah,
very simple.
that's
You
true.
know, anybody who wants to even begin to try to experiment or record any
Mhm.
phenomena, you can start off with a $40 camera. I still use a $40 camera.
I can
So
get you in this business under $90. I can get you in the game for under $90 on Amazon. Now I
yeah,
So
want to be in the game. Shit, I've got access to slave cemeteries. What am I doing over here? You should be
I
talking
just
to me.
I just got a pair of like those digital binoculars that record video with the night
Hmm.
vision for some sky watching. They're pretty cool. I don't think they're made for what I'm trying to do, but they are cool.
Well, nothing's actually made for this.
Yeah,
We're just kind of falling into it. It's incredible.
yeah, man. The first time I watched this, I swear, like my heart just skipped for a second. I was like, "What?" Because even though I'm trying to record stuff, I'm not actually sure what I'm trying to record. I'm just recording. I have no expectations of what I'm gonna get. Like I've seen them before, but it's different when you see them on camera because like you're not there. They're creeping around when you're at work.
Mhm.
Like what are they coming out of a light portal? Like what the hell was that? Like why are they being sneaky? They see my cameras. Why are they hiding from them? A lot of questions. That video too, there was audio and there was loud stepping, like someone stomping around my floor.
Mm.
So I always thought it was my upstairs neighbors, and I just stopped recording the audio. And like maybe 10 months later, I was just sitting on my couch and I just had this thought. I'm like, my neighbors walk around upstairs all the time, they don't make any noise. They have carpet. It's not like someone was stomping on hardwood floors, which I had. So
Could
I
have
don't know what that.
genuine poltergeist there.
But like it's something I just passed over and didn't think about till months later, and just hit me out of the blue. And I was like, oh no, because I was like, oh, my neighbors are they're walking too loud and messing up my recordings. So I just recorded with no audio, but then I realized it couldn't have been them. So it was like a heavy steps, like
Dude,
someone
how
had like some black boots on, like some big black boots.
how how often have you recorded this particular angle? This particular shot?
After that, I switched because I wanted to back it up to try to get that light portal. I realized I messed up. I was too close, so there's stuff happening off camera.
So it's not
But
like somewhere like a car light could shine in or anything like that.
no, it definitely could. But what
Yeah.
happens is when a car headlights would shine on that wall, they would hit the wall and then it would go across the couch as they would drive by,
Maybe like that.
and you would see the light pattern of my windows go across my wall. It's very
Yeah.
obvious. Yeah, yeah.
That's what I was.
I try to debunk my stuff the best I can before I share it because I want to make sure I believe at least what I think this stuff is when I share it. I don't want to. I jumped the gun once before and I felt. I think it was like my shadow once, and like I realized it after I shared it. And I was like, oh, I gotta calm down. I gotta make sure I look at this stuff carefully before.
You can
You know.
you can just clearly see the silhouette of a dude in that picture.
Yeah, and do you see a hat? Are you looking at the shadow picture? Or?
Yeah, I had it. I don't know why I'm not showing y'all because I'm being selfish, but I was. Yeah, let me
Point it out, Bobby.
So, Bobby,
It's incredible.
Did I send you a video that says inverted couch?
Inverted couch.
File? Yes. It would be an inverted thumbnail. You can tell by the.
Let's see if I can see where it does that. Like it's right in here. You can see its head and shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you go?
Let's see.
Right there. It's kind of hard, really hard to tell in this. Yeah, like it's clearly like a silhouette of a person.
What's interesting is if you watch it in slow motion, the shape of the body is not as obvious as when you watch it at full speed. It kind of looks like a black blob kind of.
It's hard to even tell when you stop it.
Yeah. But full speed, like you can almost see it has a hat on, like a hat and a jacket almost. Is like Dick Tracy pops his head out. That's what I see.
Inverted couch, you say?
Yes. I might not have sent it. I'm just want to double check because it's no, sorry.
Let me check on the other folder. It's turning into a.
That's all the other stuff. That's okay. I thought I shared it. Maybe I didn't.
Spoiler alert.
But what we'll do is I'll send them to you, and you guys can look them over sometimes. It's the same video, but the colors are inverted, so the shadow people are actually white instead of black.
Oh, okay.
And you can see it like a little more clear.
Yeah, that's crazy because that's clearly something like not just a what am I trying to say? It's clearly a shape of a definitive thing that makes sense.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
not like
I
a
agree.
and it goes back and it's intelligent and it's not like you said like when your headlight goes by the house, you see the window pane.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely creepy. That corner of that apartment was very, very active.
Now, have you ever had is this all just in your mind? Like, what do you think it is? Is it paranormal? It's like in the ghost genre. Or has anything crossed over into the alien abduction little gray genre for you?
It's everything.
Everything
It's everything besides Bigfoot. I mean,
could be. I mean, you got orbs.
I'm sure I could be more specific than that, but I mean, pretty much that's what it feels like. I got a little bit of everything besides Bigfoot, and nothing's like not one thing is always like a lot at once. It's always like a mixture. It's always changing. It's always different stuff. It's even my footage is always changing. Like I don't
Hmm.
record the same stuff. Like as I go on and on, the stuff I record changes. It's different. It's different where I live, which I've been thinking about that as well. As I think this stuff's everywhere, right across all across the world. Like it's
Hmm.
just overlaps, right? But I think some people are like magnets, and when
Right.
you drop them in a point, everything in that circumference, whatever, gets drawn to that.
Yeah.
Is is I think the best way I can explain it. That's what it feels like. It's what it actually feels like. I think that kind of makes sense because besides shadow people, I've never seen something in one house and see the same thing in a different house. Every place I
Oh.
lived, it's always been different. It's
Okay.
similar, but nothing. It's not like complete. Like I don't see the same things over and over. It's always a little different.
Right.
I do think the orbs and everything are like a common technology, or for lack of a better
Yeah,
word,
yeah.
for the
Because
ultra paranormal, ultra normal.
even with the alien stuff, like the orbs is like there's always orbs. It's what they turn into that changes where I go, and plus other types of activities are always different. Even like the way shadow people look. Uh, there's new stuff that's happening here. It hasn't happened anywhere else. It's just so that's my theory. So I think say if I move here and go somewhere else, I'll be that magnet dropped to that location, and whatever is chilling in that area, I'm like a little light bulb that goes off, and they're just like, and maybe some of the stuff wants to. Oh shit! Someone can see me. Let me go see them. Like I don't know. It's,
My last question. Has anything like that ever happened to you, like in a hotel, Airbnb, or any like a random place that wouldn't be haunted normally,
Good
like
question.
like a unoccupied end of a shopping mall? I'm just throwing out examples, like some place that's not haunted, like Twin Pines Shopping Mall, like it's haunted
o-
just for you,
only where I've lived. Everywhere I've lived, but only where I live.
just lived, not like a hotel
Yes.
or anything.
No. I don't. I mean, I've only been kind of investigating this the past couple of years. So anything before that, I was oblivious to almost everything. I was kind of like ignoring it. So I don't think so.
Yeah,
But
I like it. Like it'd be interesting. Say like if you were like a veteran, like in the army, you're in Iraq, and all of a sudden your Kwanzaa hut is haunted. Like son of a bitch. Like can a man serve his country? Stolen ass valor shadow puppets.
I haven't recorded outside the house yet. That's something I've been wanting to do.
Well, I'm definitely on board with Wild Trees about this camera thing. Now that I priced them, and
Right.
I have an IR camera. I have a high millimeter one,
Oh, you
which
really?
I'm sure, yeah, it's 20 years
Hmm.
old. Shoots in film, more like I'm on Nope or something. I have to get Patty out.
Even
Anyway,
better. Yeah, I think all these images are with digital film, but I'd be fascinated. What would really be fascinating is to shoot the orbs on traditional film, not digital film, at it with an infrared camera, infrared film, and with a high frame rate. That would be like the cream of the crop of footage. That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, it's there to be recorded. You just got to figure out how to record it and how to. record the data in a way,
Right. I've got access to a few places. I've got access to a few places that would be interesting for that. I think I may. God, I wasn't going to make this an all paranormal channel, but if I see a orb at 100 frames per second, it's going to turn into a paranormal channel real quick. I thought about changing it to Bobby Dizzle's ultra, or supernatural or super normal, something paranormal adjacent to where I could venture out just a little bit and make it mostly paranormal.
The Super Ultra Paranormal Club.
Yeah, I did there was a couple little words, but I don't want to be. I don't want to be 100% pigeonholed, but I want to do other stuff. But
don't get sucked down the rabbit hole, man. Make sure you only got 1 foot in.
I want to go all the way, man.
We'll lose you.
He's very susceptible. Bobby's very susceptible to getting lost in that rabbit hole.
I'll go I'll believe anything.
Dude, I was a flat earther for 4 hours.
Well, I don't think I can go that far.
I was, because I mean, watching the video was like so believable. I was like, oh, they make it make sense. I was like, no way. And then a couple hours later, I was like, what the hell is wrong with me? But yeah, you know, you don't go too far down the rabbit hole. Yeah.
After I saw video of Artemis with the round ball in its background, I don't think I'm ever going to go down the flat Earth thing. Anyway, well, John, Rican Havoc, thanks for being on. We'll end it because Wild Tree show's coming up where the real meat and potatoes happen. But I had to get that. I had to see some cool videos. You definitely made it happen. I'll have to share those with people that ask. That's going to be. I may just have a podcast of me talking to myself. We'll go ahead and end it. Thanks everybody. Thanks everybody for watching. BobbyDizzle.com. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Right,
and check the links. Check the links for everybody on this podcast. All the participants. All their stuff's in the links. Thanks, Wild Trees. Thanks, Rican Havoc. See you in about 5 minutes.